Good evening. We are going to go check out the lighthouse. By the way, I need to come up with some type of intro for these videos. I'm not very good at intros. I always forget to do it. Welcome to Rage of Sage, though. And I'm Sage. And Conrad Stevenson's Paranormal PI is the game. That's what we're playing. And we are going to the Bar Harbor Lighthouse. So, I don't know much about it. I just got an email from Anna Worthington. So she said, she addressed it to my work colleague, Stevenson. Okay. Mr. Stevenson, I would like to extend an offer for you to come and investigate the Bar Harbor Lighthouse Maritime Museum. I am sure you are very familiar with the numerous claims about the lighthouse and surrounding grounds being haunted, along with most of our staff have experienced something chilling and unexplained during our time working at the lighthouse. Whether it was hearing chills in the Hurley house, seeing shadows briskly moving about the lighthouse stairwells, or feeling full of dread while being in the barn at night, it seems there is a wide range of stories we all collectively have. I won't go into too much detail about the history because I'm sure you know more about this stuff than I do. The first claims of paranormal activity started in 1835 when Dylan Hurley became Wickie, which I think they mean Wiccan. I don't know why they said Wickie, maybe a lozenge, I don't know. Undoubtedly, these ghost stories became exaggerated when the tour started during the Novak family's tenure here. The stories further deepened a few years after the lipstick killer was apprehended. It's terrible what happened to those kiddos, and there's no shortage of ghost stories about them. I think I can speak for all of the staff here We would like to see if you are able to find some evidence validating our experiences. It would be most convenient for us if you could investigate on a weeknight. It's perfect because, Thursday? This is our busy season, and the weekends are especially busy. The lighthouse will be completely vacant, so you can investigate wherever you wish, although the visitor center and the gift snack shop will be locked up. Okay, I'll take a note of that. Additionally, if you find retractable belt barriers, please be respectful of them, although in several locations we have moved them back so you can investigate more closely. This is a museum and we want to maintain the integrity of our artifacts. Let me make sure I'm, okay. I was just making sure my mic was actually working. Okay. So let's take some notes from this. The first claims of paranormal. Keeper's quarters may be haunted. It doesn't say anything here about the keeper's quarters. That's a bit confusing. Alright, and then whether it was hearing shrills in the Hurley house, seeing shadows seen in the stairwell of the lighthouse. Alright. And shrills in the Hurley house. Alright. Then we have some archives, because I was there before and found some stuff. So this is the stuff that I found while I was there. And we're going to take some of this stuff just as some notes. So let's look at some of the stuff that I've got. Bar Harbor Lighthouse sectional plans. So I'm guessing this is like some blueprints of the layout. Theater Royal Drury Lane. And okay, Murdoch is one of the lighthouse keepers. Now I remember this story. Okay, so Murdoch was an asshole. First of all, he was an arrogant piece of shit, and he was the type of person that would lie to somebody to try to get them to like him. He was one of those type of people. Well, the other guy that worked with him, the other lighthouse keeper, like saw past his shady shit and was like, yeah, this guy's a fucking piece of work. And it got to the point where, well, and Murdoch's wife disappeared years before he had worked at the lighthouse. So, like, the other guy kind of thought that he killed his wife And then he witnessed this man, Murdoch, witnessed him kill a slave right in front of him for literally nothing. And then, like, shrugged it off like it was not. And, like, right then, the other guy, we'll call him General. The General, because he used to be in the military, the other guy, the one that doesn't like Murdoch. He decided the night that he watched him kill the slave that that was the last time he was ever going to hurt anybody ever again. And, warning to people at home, this is about to get graphic. He smothered him in his sleep, dismembered him, and then threw him into the ocean from the rocks of the island. Like, just walked down and chucked him right into the water. And since back then they were the only people that lived on that island where the lighthouse was, nobody knew that Murdoch was dead until one night the lighthouse didn't light up. So it was like, it was dark, and like it's really dangerous if the lighthouse isn't lit up at night. Like, people can crash. So somebody went to go check it out. They found the General dead in his bed of natural causes, but he had a diary that he had confessed to the killing of Murdoch. He even said that he didn't like him because he complained all of the time, and that he witnessed that's where they got that he saw him beat the slave to death, was in the diary. So they had the diary to read and to find out about him. And so yeah, all them years he lived on that island by himself, take care of the lighthouse, because he killed Murdoch. Nobody knew. They just fucking dropped the supplies off and left, and just assumed that Murdoch was up in the lighthouse tending to something. Nobody knew that anything was wrong. And I think that is crazy. And then there was other stories too, like, okay, so Eli, we'll go to there's another family here. So we've got the first people here, which was the two men. They weren't related in whatsoever. They were just here as workers. And then I think at some point it was used by the Coast Guard, and that there might have even been a battle on it at one point, and a bunch of soldiers died on it. Yeah, or something like that. And they had an infirmary and everything set up there. But anyways, a family had moved in after Murdoch and the General, the Hurley family moved in. And it was this guy and his wife and his 4 or 5 sons. And she had tried for years to have a daughter and just couldn't conceive a daughter. And like 5 years, 5 boys later, she actually conceived a daughter, and she ended up dying in child labor. Very traumatic, very, very tragic and sad and whatnot. Okay, so in between, before she had died, Eli, one of her sons, and one of his brothers was up in the lighthouse playing, and he got pushed off the railing and fell to his death. So Eli might be the shadow. I think Eli's the shadow that they see, that they've been spotted in the lighthouse. And Murdoch's definitely there. And Deirdre, the mother who died in child labor, she's definitely there. I don't know if there's anybody else there yet. I don't think so. But we're going to go check it out. I'm going to add some notes here real quick, and then we're going to zip over there. But this right here, by the way, Murdoch killed his wife supposedly because he was having an affair. And I think that's what this right here is. I think this was the lipstick mark from his mistress or whoever. And then here we've got a ship, let's say, the McManus Cutter propeller class attached to Admiral Irving. Irving's his name. Admiral Irving. I know I was calling him a general. He's admiral, not a general. But yeah, this was his vessel at one point. And then this says Doug Murdoch, so that's Murdoch's stuff right here, where it says 1812 and whatnot. What's this? Deirdre may not be alone. I can't read that because it's so small. Huh. And then, they said that somebody that Dylan Hurley was a Wicca or a Wiccan. I think that he performed a seance, which kind of amplified some stuff. So we're gonna try to get a little bit of everybody. So we've got the keeper's quarters, shadow in the stairwell. What the fuck is my cat doing? Chatter. Sorry about that. I yell at him like my grandma used to yell at her dog. Sassy. Alright. So, seance, Deirdre. Well, okay, so, let's clear this list real quick. And let's focus on one at a time. So let's go after the stairway, the stairwell in the lighthouse. And that's where the shadow is. And I'm going to just collect all this stuff here where it says about Eli. We'll just keep this too, because this might be involved with that. I don't know. This says all the Hurleys. Death records. And then it says location, but then some of them's not showing. Where are they? If they're not buried. You know what I mean? Like this is right here is strange to me, because like, why would there not be a burial thing here? Unless they were cremated, then that would make sense. But some of them have. What does all this mean? Move that so I can see it. Date of deaths. And it says date, location. Oh, burial. Okay, burial date and location. Yeah, see, it doesn't show. Okay, so they might have been cremated. But there's an X beside John on the date. So usually they put an X next to if they don't know. So I think 2 of these people are missing. Where the X's are, maybe missing in war or a battle or something like that. Because there was talk about a battle, and maybe that's what this is. Several deaths from 1837 to 51. Wait a second. I remember seeing something on the wiki page. Locations. Bar Harbor. That's right. In the Novak family. I completely forgot about them. And the Coast Guard. And the lips. Oh my god, this is so much to read. Holy crap. Alright, well, let's start at the lighthouse. After the War for Independence, the city entered a reconstruction period and experienced tremendous growth in the historical district. The docks at Bar Harbor operated around the clock, ensuring distribution of imports throughout the community. In early 1800s, several ships were severely damaged, entering the harbor around dusk. The city determined having a light station would mitigate further disruptions to dock operations. Construction of the lighthouse was completed in 1821 and consisted of the light tower, keeper's living quarters, and a fuel storage building. Okay. Delmore Irving. Wow, that's a really small text. Hey, what's up, Cookie? Delmore Irving and Douglas Murdoch were the first Bar Harbor lighthouse keepers. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Delmore Irving was a retired admiral who had a hardened personality defined by his experiences at sea during the recent war. Douglas Murdoch had a long career as a local politician. In the year prior to his arrival at the light station, his popularity significantly deteriorated. Rumors surfaced. Why can I not talk? Wow. Rumors surfaced about Mr. Murdoch having an affair with the wife of one of his colleagues, and shortly thereafter, Mrs. Murdoch suspiciously left town without a trace. Okay, yeah. So he killed his wife. Law enforcement opened a case about the matter, but no evidence was discovered. The general consensus was that Douglas Murdoch volunteered for the keeper's job to avoid further attention and potential prosecution. The community believed the light station operated for years without incident. As dusk appeared on April 14, 1835, the light tower was not operational. This was an immediate and urgent issue for the harbor, and began nightfall. The dock superintendent and a police officer were inside the keeper's quarters. It appeared that Admiral Irving's passed away in his sleep, and Douglas Murdoch was nowhere to be found. The following morning, police officers, detectives, and the medical examiner arrived at the light station to investigate. The coroner's report indicated that Admiral Irving passed away in his sleep of natural causes. The detectives found Delmore Irving's diary, and a very disturbing story started to unfold. And here's where it starts to get a little bit gory. So if you're squeamish and whatnot, you might not want to sit through this. Okay. Admiral Irving immediately disliked Douglas Murdoch, and over the years, this festered into hatred. As highlighted in Admiral Irving's diary on his first night at the light station on September 12, 1821, it is incredibly evident that Mr. Murdoch has spent his entire life striving for the affection of others by storytelling. Numerous times today he appeared to adjust his disposition throughout our conversations for the sake of earning my regard. I have a strong disdain for a man that lacks integrity. The entries grew in frequency and frustration as time passed. The following is another excerpt from his diary. I have begun to voice my disdain to Douglas about his shifty personality. His commitment to his work is dismal. He reminds me of a spoiled child complaining about nearly every aspect of his duties. I don't recall ever wanting to mangle another man so feverishly in my life. Whoa. He's not liking this man, and I don't blame him. Like, he seems like a fucking piece of work. Okay. Admiral Irving documented that Mr. Murdoch purchased 7 slaves in 1832 and had them build their own housing on the west side of the peninsula, which was densely vegetated and was a discreet location. Slavery was legal at this time, although a severe divide was growing within the country on the subject. New Eidolon did not support slavery, and no slave could be found anywhere within the city limits. Douglas was aware of the community's position, but regardless, traveled south to purchase them. The following entry demonstrates Admiral Irving's feelings on the matter. I am surprised I find myself astonished with Douglas' recent procurement. I imagine a person of such filth would have no problem stooping to such moral lows. A few months later, he wrote the following. It seems that I have befriended the neighbors to the west. They are much more akin to my liking than that meter Douglas. So he's saying that he gets along more with the slaves than he does with Douglas, is what he's trying to say. Admiral Irving scripted the culmination of his hatred for Douglas Murdoch on August the 7th, 1834. Today I witnessed Douglas beat George II, as I believe, to death. Douglas, a lazy, spineless hypocrite, felt it necessary to beat him because he was delinquent on his duties. I am full of regret not being able to stop the whipping sooner. The only redeemable act I can contrive is to ensure tonight will be the end of Douglas.